Hey guys, it's Britt. Today we're here with a couple of updates on the Dougherty Dozen. I was going to save these, but I figured why not? I have time and y'all are probably going to be interested in this, based on kind of recent content. I can obviously tell what y'all are interested in. So I figured I would just share it with you now. I want to talk about her fans' kind of rabid behavior on all platforms. They're kind of attacking one another, and I have an example of that. I also want to touch on the fact that she uploaded 5 hours of wrapping gifts, which I think is ridiculous. And then I also want to touch on this TikTok that she just posted of making 200 sandwiches and how she decided to turn something that should be giving back into a way for her to line her own pockets. Are we surprised? No. Are we going to talk about it? Absolutely. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so I took one for the team, and even though I didn't survive it, I tried to watch some of her wrapping gifts because I was wondering, what is she going to fill this time with? 5 hours is such a long time, and even if you are putting it at 2 times speed, that's still an expectation that people have 2.5 hours of their day to watch your videos. But I did not make it past the hour-and-a-half mark. I kind of skipped around a little bit towards the end, but it was obnoxious, full of flex culture. Alicia's wearing this damn outfit with jingle bells on it. So all that you hear are jingle bells, her explaining the gifts, even though we already know what all the kids are getting, and the crinkling of wrapping paper. Not entertaining, not into it, I'll pass. But I did check out the comments as I was listening, and someone mention there's no way I can watch a video for 5 hours. I think 1 hour to 1.5 hours is long enough for a movie. And then I'm done. Sometimes I get bored. Fair enough. You're not into it? Leave a comment. Cool. This person wasn't being nasty or anything like that. But one of the Dougherty Dozen superfans decided to chime in just a few hours later and say, "Stop complaining. Who cares? You can come back and forth to the video." And the original commenter responded and said, "It's my free will to complain. When it's posted publicly, I have the right to say whatever I want." And that's a fair point. Then more of Alicia's rabid fans jump in and say, "People really feel the need to say everything that's on their minds. Huh? So obnoxious." Then someone else said, "Then don't watch it. It's background noise for me." Someone else chimed in and said, "Same, I'm done with this one. She can literally edit it to speed it up, but she doesn't. God, it's so frustrating." And the original commenter left a final reply and said she's either clueless on how to edit videos or she really doesn't care and does it on purpose. And I've talked about this for a really long time. This boring, just useless content that Alicia puts out in order to make money. I think it's embarrassing, if I'm being quite honest, that you want to call yourself this influencer and a mom vlogger and a YouTuber, TikToker extraordinaire, but you won't even respect people's time enough to do some editing to your videos so that you don't just throw up a 5-hour video and expect people to shuffle through and try to find out if anything is even worth taking away from this video. And I know that you watch at your own regard and all of that kind of stuff, fine. When you want to be called a digital content creator, YouTuber, whatever, there's work that goes into that. And I cannot stand lazy content. I get it sometimes, like we're all in a hurry, so on and so forth. But if you're going to take this on as your full-time role and you're putting out lazy content that is also toxic and problematic, don't expect your time on this platform to be a long road paved with success the entire way. Because you have told people that you're just going to throw out whatever. You know that some people that are oddly obsessed with you are going to watch it. Some aren't. But you're not a creator. You're just someone who turns on your phone, does whatever it is that you're doing, shuffling around the kitchen, wrapping gifts. You're not even like telling stories or answering questions while you're doing this kind of stuff. It is literally useless. My opinion, of course. Now, more importantly, let's move on to what I actually want to make this video about, and that is the fact that we finally see this endless loaves of bread being put to use by Alicia. Now, here's the thing. She's making 200 sandwiches for her 1 million subscriber celebration on YouTube. Thank you, Dietz and Watson, for donating all the meats and cheeses. Ew. This was just posted an hour ago. The comments are quite interesting, so we'll get into a few of those here in a minute. But I want to talk about this. I have been really hoping that she was going to do the right thing after I saw that Costco haul. And I said, let me give the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully this is going back to people that are unhoused this holiday season. Maybe they're trying to get out of abusive relationships with their children. Let's hope that for once she does something that gives back. And sat on it for a few days. It was supposed to happen Christmas Eve. Nothing happened. The bread was still sitting around. Whatever. Now we come to the 28th where she is showing, first of all, putting all of this bread on just a table. We don't, let's just give the benefit of the doubt and say that she sanitized this table. This table should have been covered with some kind of plastic wrap or saran wrap or something in order for this porous surface, which is wood, to not come in contact with this bread that could be going to people outside of the Dougherty home. Secondly, she's not wearing gloves. Now, y'all don't have to be the smartest people on the planet to know that when you're preparing food for others, sanitize, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Keep a clean workspace, keep a clean workspace. Alicia's not doing any of that here. Number one, and I am not a food inspector, I'm just someone who happens to care about hygiene and cleanliness, and I know a thing or two about prepping food for people that are outside of my home. Number one, who knows if the table was properly sanitized? Number two, it doesn't have a cover on it, so there's no protecting this food that is going to be ingested from the germs and who knows what else that might be on this table that wasn't properly cleaned. Secondly, Alicia's not wearing gloves. Third, she's not wearing a hairnet. Fourth, she's not wearing an apron or anything to keep her clothing from brushing up against this bread that is on the edge of this dining room table. What in the world is wrong with you? Alicia, I think at this point, you're just doing this to piss people off. I really do. I think that the outrage marketing thing I talked about a while ago is just her marketing strategy now. Because there is no way that a grown adult, whether or not you've ever worked in the service industry, if you're making something that is going to be ingested by somebody else, you don't have to have a lot of, mental strength to be able to say, I really need to make sure that this is properly done because somebody else could get sick if I fuck it up. Now, third of all, I want to talk about the lovely ingredients that she used on these sandwiches. First thing, they're not for her kids. I'm confident in saying that because her kids don't eat what she's doing here. Secondly, she is using mayo. And I told you guys this a few videos back, but when I used to go to the local shelter and serve either lunch or dinner to the residents or people that had come in from outside to have lunch or dinner there, I remember that there were these two women that would always do drop-offs. They would drop off sandwiches in Ziploc bags, and they had an agreement with the homeless shelter that they were certified to be able to do this. So I don't know if they owned a restaurant. I don't know if they had an industrial kitchen in their home. I'm not sure what their arrangement was, but they were certified to be able to provide these sandwiches to the shelter. And they would come quite often. I saw them a handful of times. Really nice people. The number one thing that I would always see from the sandwiches that they would drop off, because they would basically drop them off and I would assist to put them into the refrigerator until later that day when the outreach workers would go out and pass some of them out, and they would also give some of them to the people that were staying in the center. They were all given out either that day or the following day, but it's also important to keep them in the fridge while, you're kind of in this waiting period. The sandwiches that these women would bring by never had mayo, because a lot of people just don't like mayo. But secondly, mayo goes bad very quickly. So if you're giving these to people that are unhoused and they don't have a way to keep the sandwich cold and they want to save it for dinner or they want to save it for breakfast the next day, that mayo is going to possibly cause them a lot of, stomach issues and not feeling so great, because it's literally been sitting at room temperature for the last 18 to 20 hours, depending on how long they need to save it for. Most of the sandwiches that these women would bring were either PB&J or turkey, and I think they would do like ham and mustard or something. I can't remember specifically, but I remember that it was a lot of just, basic sandwiches that if they sat out at room temperature for a couple of hours, once they were given out, it would be okay. But while they were in the possession of the shelter, they were refrigerated just in order to help that side of things. If you're giving back, this is the same thing with the tile, like giving the tile that were free for Alicia. That's a paid subscription service as, quote, gifts to her kids' teachers. That's ridiculous. You're not giving them a gift. You're giving them something that you didn't pay for, that they actually have to pay to become a subscriber, or they won't be able to use the tile. So what, there was literally no point to the tile thing aside to make herself wealthier, which is always the end game with Alicia. Now, when it comes to this situation, we're again going back to, we're going to do something nice for people, but it's also part of a brand deal, part of a sponsorship where I'm making money. So literally all that Alicia did was buy the bread, which is a tax write-off because it was part of her vlog from Costco. The mayo, that was definitely bought in a vlog as well, write-off. And she was sent meats and cheeses from Dietz & Watson. Alicia has done nothing but make money for herself while being a fake savior. She is not the savior that some of y'all think she is, and I get so irate over it, and that's why I talk about her all the damn time. She creates the problems for people to be upset about and make content about. It is infuriating. I hate fake saviors. I don't like liars. I don't like fake saviors. I don't appreciate when people manipulate others for feelings and monetary gain. I think it's all just disgusting, and it's all over the internet. But with this, people are in the comments applauding her. Others are confused. Some are saying that one kid is going to eat them all because he's, the quote, one that is the hungriest. So again, going back to talking about kids, the way they physically look, how hungry they are. Like, you guys are really twisted. And of course, people who are saying, I really hope that she's giving these out to people in need or that are unhoused, the Dougherty Dozen stands come right in and say, oh, what did you do today? Did you give away sandwiches today? Y'all are so brainwashed and ignorant to what Alicia is doing. And that's fine, but I'm also literally fed up with Dougherty Dozen fans excusing this kind of bullshit when it's a problem. This is not just some lighthearted little opinion that people could either take or leave. This is someone literally being a fake savior, and on top of it, not following proper protocol if these are going to people that are unhoused, which it seems like that's what's going to happen. These are not for her family. Alicia makes their lunches every day, and on top of it, these kids are out of school until probably another 8 to 9 days. So these are obviously going to somebody in the community. And I just think it's appalling. Like, no gloves, no hairnet, no apron, no covering of the table, touching everything with your bare hands, and y'all already know I'm a dog mom. I love dogs. Dogs are better than people, and I adore them. But her dogs are also roaming around here. Typically, when you're making food for people, it's in a properly sterilized kitchen where there are not pets roaming around. The people that are coming in contact with the food have their gloves and their hairnets and aprons and all of that good stuff. This is a disaster. I cannot believe that this is being applauded. Someone said, I bet my last dollar there's a hair in at least one of those sandwiches. People are in here saying, oh, it's going to feed her family. She is not giving these to her kids. You guys, like, these are not going to her kids, period. So that argument is not even remotely feasible. These are definitely going to somebody. But I was astonished that she actually put this out. Like, I had hoped that they were going to the homeless, but like I said, if you're giving food out to people that are in your community, like, there are really strict guidelines that need to be followed. And I know bare minimum, wearing gloves and a hairnet and working in a properly sterilized dogless environment are at the top of the list. Nobody wants dog hair or Alicia hair or any type of germ that might have been on her dining room table that wasn't properly sanitized. Literally ingesting that, no thanks. I always say, like, it's just a lot easier. And from my experience in my area, and I'm not speaking for everybody in all the shelters, but what I have seen is they really appreciate just non-perishable items, like the boxes of granola bars and crackers and stuff. Like, those are wonderful. Once you get into this whole making thing, like, there's a whole process around it. And it's also really easy to just call the shelter and be like, look, what do you guys need? What kind of non-perishable goods can I supply you with that would, go to good use in your shelter? Because if they already have 100 boxes of fruit snacks and 50 boxes of breakfast granola bars, then maybe they need something like chips or canned goods or pasta. I don't know. This is a mess. I've already received so many messages, so I'm going to put this video out right away because, I'm receiving tons of inquiries about this. So yes, I just uploaded a Dougherty Dozen video last night. This is going up right now. There will be some different content coming, but with my inbox flooded, I knew that I wanted to give you guys a place to vent, bring you up to speed. That's just what we do here. But there will be some different content coming, so stay tuned. But for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.